Hello! I'm Brianna. Today is my day, and I'm making a video today about what is going on in our life. It's pretty low-key, but here we go. Right now, I am cooking this. Pasta! I'm making macaroni salad. I mean, it's kind of macaroni salad, but it's actually shell salad. Anyway, I'm going to be chopping up some green onions, which I could have gotten onions out of our garden, but I really wanted them to be green because they're prettier, so I bought some at Wegmans. And then I'm going to grate some carrots, and also I'm going to talk about what we've been doing in our life lately, which is looking for a car. We have been looking to buy a new car, and do you want to hear the whole process? Here we go. So my husband is a mechanic, and when I say mechanic, I mean we actually owned an auto garage for about 6 years. He knows how to do a lot of things. He has a lot of experience. He's not currently working as a mechanic. He's working in agriculture because that's what he wanted to do and not work with cars. But he's very skilled. He knows how to do stuff. And our whole married life, Ezra is also really, he's always not wanted to be in debt. Sharpening my knife. He has never wanted to be in debt. We've never been the type of people that like buy new and have a lot of debt on things. At least we try not to. We try not to have credit card debt, or we don't even have student loans. We have always been really big on buying, with cash, or making good decisions that we don't carry a big debt load, which is great. That's kind of a principle that we try to live by. We do have a mortgage. We're not totally cash. And that's not to say there haven't been times when we have invested money. I remember when we first got married, my husband read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which was kind of, I think I read parts of it. And it was kind of like the idea that you make your money work for you. You don't spend your money on things that depreciate. You spend your money on things that, invest money. And we've always tried to do that, but to be honest, we have not, been very wealthy in our marriage, which has been probably a big, one of the biggest struggles. Hold on a second. One of the biggest struggles in our marriage has been deciding how we're going to spend money and knowing what to prioritize and having different ideas about what that looks like, and trying to live on the kind of budget that allows us to have some freedom and fun in our lifestyle, but also doesn't, make us a slave to our debt. Anyway, so one of the subjects that has to do with money in that is vehicles. And we have always, in the past, driven used vehicles. We've never bought new vehicles. We very rarely, only one time that I can remember, had payments on a vehicle. We've always just tried to buy a vehicle that was, used, had some good life in it. We never had to have the fanciest or best, just whatever worked for our family, And when we used to own the auto garage, when Ezra was fixing people's vehicles, he often had opportunities to buy used vehicles because people would be, he was in the business. He'd come across different deals, and so we drove different vehicles of all kinds. We drove trucks and vans and neon and a Jeep Wagoneer that I loved. We've gone through quite a few vehicles in our marriage, and whenever something would go wrong, Ezra always fixed it, usually, or he'd bring it into our shop or to somebody if he didn't feel like doing it, or if it was, not worth, we didn't have the right equipment or something. But we live in the country. Like, a lot of people who live in town have different options because you can do public transportation. There's taxis and Uber and whatever. But we live in the country. We live 30 minutes from the Walmart. We live a ways. We live 25 minutes from church. We live out here. You kind of have to have a vehicle that you can get around because there's not a lot of options. Anyway. Okay, here's my green onions into the pasta. And next we're doing carrots with a grater. Anyway, so we have to have something. And it's funny because I think that one of our first kind of conflicts in our marriage came from this, like, differing idea of what our life was going to look like. I think that when we first got married and moved out here, no, we had been married like 10 years when is that right? 9 years when we lived here, when we moved here. And I think that in Ezra's mind, we were moving here and like we were going to homestead. Like our life, our days, every day, every hour was going to be filled up with the farm. Like our kids were going to have swim in the creek, and I was going to garden, and he was going to work with the cows, and like we were going to leave the house once a week to go to church and once a month to go get groceries. And that's not how it has worked out. Like I like to do things. I like to do things like well, we do musical theater, and the twins like take ballet, and I don't know, we like to visit people and go to field trips and stuff with the homeschool. And I don't know, that has been kind of a point of conflict in our marriage. And I think that part of that, like that conflict comes up in our vehicle troubles, because when we need a vehicle, part of the question is like, well, why? Why do we need a vehicle? What do we need to do with it? And it would be one thing if we were just here all the time and never went anywhere except for to church on Sunday, and we could have an old truck that got 14 miles per gallon and we could all cram in it once a week. But it's a whole other thing if I, audition for a play that has practices 4 nights a week, half an hour, 45 minutes away and back. So I guess this video is getting a lot more personal than I thought it was going to be. But anyway, we right now currently, for the last couple years, have had 2 vehicles. One vehicle is like my vehicle that I drive with the kids wherever we're going, and another vehicle is Ezra's that he drives to and from work. He's currently working for a farm that is about 25 minutes away. It's a guy about his age that has some different agro, I don't know the word, because it's not like a traditional, exactly like you would think of a farm. Like, he has a bunch of different irons in the fire, I guess you would say, and Ezra's right now drives truck for him, which there's a lot more truck driving and farming than you would think. There's a lot more. Anyway, but Ezra drives truck like half the day, and the other half the day just kind of does whatever needs to be done for them. Anyway, so Ezra drives to work in the morning over there, and I'm home homeschooling with the kids, but the twins take ballet, and they've been involved in a Christian ballet school that the last 2 years they go 2 days a week to ballet class and 1 day a week to the ballet ministry practice. And then we also every other week on Wednesdays have done a homeschool co-op that we go to that's about 45 minutes away. And then in the evenings we go to church on Wednesday nights. The kids go to youth group, and I've been involved in our local musical theater productions, which have practices like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes on Saturday, but you're not scheduled every single. It's a lot of times like 2 to 3 days a week that you go. Anyway, so I do a lot of driving, plus groceries, of course, and stuff. Anyway, so we are always kind of looking for, we always need to be driving a vehicle that is low miles per gallon, because we drive a lot, but also we live in I'm gonna plug my phone in. We live where there's snow and ice, and the roads aren't always great, so it can't be a total little box that doesn't have any traction on the snow or anything. Anyway, so that's the backstory. Anyway, the current situation is that for the last while we have driven used cars. Like our whole marriage, we've driven used cars. And especially if we can get them for like, you know, under $3,000 and keep them running. It's a really low cost per mile. It's, you know, we run a vehicle. In an ideal world, we'd like to get a vehicle for like $3,000 and run it for like 5 years. And then and if we put tires on it occasionally, or oil changes, or maybe replace the brakes, if we could keep our cost to like $1,000 to $2,000 a year, or under $2,000, but more like $1,200 a year per vehicle, that would be ideal, you know. But for the last couple of years, like 7 years, we've had so many problems. Like, it seems like we used to be able to buy used vehicles and, you know, drive them and fix them here and there and keep our cost per year very, very low. But the last couple of vehicles that we've had, like, different things go wrong and we end up replacing this and replacing that, and then they die and the transmission goes and we have to replace them again, or something breaks on it that's too expensive to fix and not worth fixing. And so it's kind of ended up that we've ended up with, like, you know, if a car has 200,000 miles, we drive the worst, most unreliable 20,000 miles of that vehicle, and we've been broken down on the side of the road and stuck at home because my car's not starting way too many times. And so, anyway, even though Ezra has the skills of a mechanic, and he absolutely could do literally anything, he's gotten really sick of having to be a mechanic 10 hours a week, you know, for free for our vehicles. And we're sick of putting parts into our vehicles. So we started talking about what it actually cost to run a car, like what is our actual cost per year to drive a car. And if you're buying a vehicle at like $3,000 to $5,000 and running it for like 5 years and putting tires on it every other year and oil changes and brakes by yourself, your cost is about $1,000 a year. But if you're buying a car for $3,000 and then putting like $1,000 of parts into it and then only running it for like a year, your cost is like $4,000 a year. And it's just, it hasn't been going great for us that way. So we've been looking at maybe actually buying a new car on payments, like with a loan. And one of the ways we would do that, or like one of the caveats of doing that, is that Ezra says we looked up to kind of read about what kind of cars hold their value the longest, because we were doing the math a little bit and saying, like, okay, if we buy a new car for hypothetically $20,000 and we run it for 10 years, that's $2,000 a year. But if it can hold its resale value and we could sell it again in 10 years for, like, you know, $8,000 to $10,000, well, then that puts us back down to $1,000 a year. Of course, that's not including oil changes and tires and stuff, but it's still really low, and we get the first 100,000 miles rather than the last 100,000 miles, which would make it so we're driving a much more reliable vehicle. But it's been stressing me out a little bit because we've never had a payment, like, we've never done debt. Like, we've never been like, oh yeah, we'll just get a charge card and pay that off. We've never done that. We've always waited until we had the money to do something. And I've been stressed out the last, like, week since Ezra suggested this, and maybe 2 weeks, and was talking to me about this, and I was like, I don't know, I don't want to do that. I feel like really nervous and scared. And today the last couple days I've been, since the very beginning, I've been praying about it and saying, like, Lord, I want to do what's right. I don't want to make a stupid decision. I don't want to be a slave to a loan and feel like I made a big mistake and now I'm tied down to a vehicle and a payment that I can't afford, because we don't have a high income. Like, I feel like that's the scariest thing to me, is to be like, we have this payment we have to make every week, and suddenly, like, or not every week, but, you know, every month, and it stresses me out. It scares me a little bit. Like, I feel stingy. Like, I feel like a little bit like I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to commit to spending money that we haven't made yet. That sounds scary. But the last little while since Ezra suggested this, I have thought about the fact that, yeah, it does stink to have unreliable vehicles and to ask your friends to give you rides or to pick you up or to have your husband feel like he has to come home from work and go lay on the ground underneath a vehicle to fix something. It stinks. It really stinks. And there's been a lot of times that I would have liked to do something, but nope, my vehicle's not running right now, or, you know. Anyway. So I've been praying about it, and I feel like the Lord's been telling me a couple of things, like teaching me a couple things about this. And the first thing is that a couple of years ago, we got, I don't know if it was 4 years ago, maybe, we got a Traverse, a 2009 Traverse, really comfy, it was like a premium, like the nicest edition. I mean, used, you know, this was like, was it, I don't know how old it was when we got it, but, I got in that car and just felt so overwhelmed, like, can I drive a nice car like this? Because for such a long time I've just been driving heaters. And I felt like I was, when we got that vehicle, okay, that was it 2017 maybe? We had been on the side of the road, broke down the side of the road 3 times in the space of 6 weeks with 3 different vehicles because we were, you know, trying to fix this one, trying to put that one on the road, trying to sell this one. And I personally was on the side of the road with 3 different vehicles in a space of 6 weeks. And the third one that broke down, I wasn't even mad. I broke down. I just kind of was like, oh, of course. And so I called my friend. She came pick me up and we came home, and I, you know, made some phone calls to figure out how we could get it home. And I wasn't even emotional. I was just totally like, whatever, this is my life. And I remember praying and like saying to the Lord, okay, Lord, I just need a vehicle. We just need vehicles. I'm sorry, but like, you're going to have to provide because we've been trying and we cannot make vehicles run for our family. And so you're going to have to help us. And I remember specifically asking for 2 vehicles. It was April when it happened, and I was like, Lord, we need 2 vehicles by like May 1st, May 4th-ish. I remember saying May 4th because it was like maybe the first Friday or something. I had some reason why it was May 4th was the day. And I'm like, I would like 2 vehicles. I need one for Ezra and one for me. I would really like it if one was a truck so that Ezra could pull a trailer. And it would be really nice if my vehicle had like a sunroof. And it fits all of our kids. And I had some other, like, you know, things that I asked the Lord specifically for. And I just kind of, like, washed my hands of it. I'm like, I'm tired of stressing. I'm tired of worrying. I'm tired of looking in the classifieds and looking on Craigslist. I'm tired of looking for vehicles. Lord, you're just going to have to provide. And we did. Like, it's kind of a long story, but, like, literally we got, in the next 6 weeks, we got 2 vehicles. One was a truck. One was my Traverse. And I remember the first time I got in the Traverse, I got in it and I didn't know it was something we were going to get. I thought it was a relative's vehicle. And we got in the vehicle to ride somewhere. And I remember like looking in the vehicle and being like, ooh, it's a nice vehicle. And it had a sunroof. And then later, when I found out that it was going to be ours, I was like, what? We're gonna have a nice vehicle? Are you kidding me? And then I got into it after we bought it, and I like looked at it again, like really looked at it, and I'm like, holy crow, this is a nice car and I love it. And then not only that, I turned around after we had already agreed to buy it, like we were picking it up. I turned around and looked, and it didn't just have one. Hi, okay, so before I finish telling that story, I just want to say that as I was making that video and working on my macaroni salad to take to dinner tonight, Ezra came in and interrupted me just as I was finishing, and the most exciting start of my testimony. So I finished the macaroni salad, gave some to Grandpa and Grandma and Ezra, and then I came upstairs with a basket of laundry, and I thought, I'll put away some laundry while I make a video. And then I set up this little camera thing, learning how to use it and all this stuff. And then I turned on and put away laundry, and I had a basket of dirty laundry with a folded towel on top of it. Because apparently that is my life. So I'm not going to do anything productive while I talk to you. I'm just going to talk to you. Okay, so this is what I was going to say. I was in the middle of telling about my vehicle, the Traverse. So I got the Traverse, and I had, prayed that prayer, asked the Lord for specifically for what we needed, and then I kind of added in as a joke to the Lord in my prayer that I wanted a sunroof. And then when we actually went to go pick up the Traverse, had the keys in my hand, switched over and everything. It was our vehicle. I got in the vehicle. I sat in the driver's seat. I was like, it's so nice. And then I turned around and looked, and the Traverse did not have one sunroof. It had two. Dos sunroofes. I felt like the Lord was just kind of saying to me, like, Brianna, I'm going to bless you. I'm really good. I'm much better than you think. And I've been, I feel like that was one of the very first things in my journey in the Lord that started shifting my thinking to be surprised by how good God is. I know this is a long video. Do you kind of feel like my videos just end up me talking? Because I feel like they do. I feel like I talk a lot, and so this is just a side little note. Eric's gonna probably do some crazy stuff. I don't know what the twins are gonna do. Ezra's gonna show you a lot of cows, and I'm just gonna talk to you. So if you are just prepared for that, then this will all go better. Okay, so anyway, okay, so I feel like when I was young, I knew that the Lord was God. I knew He created the earth. I knew about Jesus and our sin and how, He covered us with His blood. I knew about salvation. I knew that the Bible is God's word and we should follow God's word. I've known for, all of those foundational things for a long time. And when I was a teenager, at some point I kind of realized for myself that I wanted to know, follow the Lord wholeheartedly and not just be a casual Christian. I didn't want to be I'm a Christian because that's my culture. I'm a Christian because that's my family. I want to actually know God for myself. And so I started being purposeful in my own life to know the Lord and to follow Him and to understand His ways. And I think for a long time, I thought as a teenager, yay, I'm going to follow the Lord. It's going to be great. He's going to have all these adventures for me. I'm going to be a missionary. I had all of these kind of exciting ideas about what life was going to look like. And then I got a little bit older. I was always really I can't explain it, but I feel like when I think of myself as a child and a young adult, I think I was very enthusiastic and excitable, and I still am in a lot of ways, but I would be just gung-ho, let's start a Bible study, let's go on this youth retreat, let's have a Sunday school party and invite all the Sunday school kids to my house and play with water balloons all day. I was just really excited, and I just felt like the world was rosy, everything was great. I got married to an amazing man that I was in love with. I had immediately a baby, which was fantastic, and then I had twins, even better. Not better than Eric. I'm not trying to say that. I'm sorry. Okay, but I just kind of at some point realized that life was hard. The twins were not easy when they were born. I had some struggles. Suddenly, it's like I was rolling along, and all of them just kind of oh my gosh. We went through some hard times in 2005 where we were going to a church that we left, and someone we loved died right then, and the twins were born, and they were really difficult and didn't sleep and went back into the hospital because they lost weight, and that year was really rough on me, and something about those years switched me so that instead of being an optimistic, happy-go-lucky, I can do anything kind of person, I turned into this kind of curmudgeon that was really critical and pessimistic and worried and anxious. And I feel for 10 years that's who I was. And I would have occasional bouts of happy-go-lucky Brianna if everything was going well. If everything was beautiful and the sun was shining, I was perfectly happy Brianna. But in the meantime, I was moody, miserable, grumpy, pessimistic, worried, crying Brianna. And I didn't really know what to do with that. And this video is not going where I thought it was going to go. But I am getting back around to the cars. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I feel like we moved here to Jasper about 8 years ago in September. Actually, it'll be 8 years next month. And I kind of had in my mind, like, I'm going to escape miserable me. When I go to Jasper and move to Jasper, I'm going to be on fire again. I'm going to be back to happy me. Maybe living this homesteady life like Ezra wants me to do will make me a better person and a better Christian and a better mom and less miserable. And really, it just, like, exacerbated it. Like, when we first moved here, maybe I can go into that some other time, for, like, seriously, I think for the first year or 5 years, I was, like, really struggling. I had, like, full-on crisis of faith, feeling like, what even am I? What is life? Who am I? What am I doing? I don't know. Like, I hate myself and I hate God, I think. I don't know, but, like, I don't know. And I feel like about 4 years ago, the Lord started, like, it's like he let me be miserable for a little while. And when I say miserable, like, I was still praying and reading my Bible. I was still teaching kids classes. I was still, like, doing all this stuff because I wasn't, like, I didn't lose my faith. I still believed that God was real. It's just that I seriously questioned what he was doing and, like, questioned if I could trust him and questioned if he was good. And I think he let me kind of wonder, honestly. And in a way, I feel like he kind of, like, broke away. I think that my happiness and joy when I was young was based on a lot of, like, temporary things. Like, it was based on my youth. It was based on the fact that I had, you know, good grades in school and a bright future ahead of me. It was based on the fact that people liked me and my hair was shiny, and that's what my happiness and my joy was based on. That's what my optimism and my exuberance was based on. And yes, I love the Lord, but, like, it was just kind of all mixed up. But I feel like the Lord broke away a lot of those things that I was dependent on. Like, I'm not young anymore. I've not really been a financial success in life, and I haven't, like, I don't know, I haven't always been popular or well-liked or successful in things I did. And I think that the Lord allowed me to, like, stripped away a lot of that stuff and left me so that I was kind of totally dependent on him. And at first, and when all that stuff kind of stripped away and things didn't go like I wanted, I think I, like, freaked out of my mind and just kind of was like, I don't even know who you are, God. But then eventually he started kind of opening my eyes to, like, not, okay, what I was saying is, like, I got into this mode where I was, like, very pessimistic and curmudgeonly. Like, I was very much like, everything's gonna go wrong, God's not gonna come through for me, this is gonna be crap. And hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, and I got into this mode where I was just always thinking about the worst would happen in a situation. Like, I would walk into a situation and be like, okay, like, I'm gonna try this, but probably this is gonna happen, and probably that person's gonna think that, probably that person's gonna act like that. And I had just a really pessimistic view, and I just didn't trust God at all. And around about the time that we got the Traverse, I was just beginning to feel like the Lord teaching me the lesson of, like, okay, actually, not everything goes bad, and there's not badness all around me, and everything's not going to go bad. The truth is that I, in the past, have just trusted myself. I've trusted my own wisdom, my own ability, my own intelligence, my own ability to be, you know, persuasive of people, and I've put a lot of trust and faith that things will go well in the fact that I can make things go well. But I had kind of come to the point where, like, I can't make things go well. I can't make things succeed. And the Lord, like, let me live in that for a little while, and then he started waking me up to the fact that, like, oh, I might not be able to make things succeed, but, like, I can trust the Lord. I can, like, expect good because I put my faith in God. Not because I can expect good because I can accomplish this thing, but more like I can trust you, God, even if in the past this has failed. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to go forward as if I expect you to come through for me. And that thing with the Traverse, that prayer I offered, it was weird because in a way I can kind of see that in my spirit I was like just giving up. Like I had been really pushing and pushing and pushing, like, how can we find a vehicle? How can we make it work? How can we save up money? How can we sell something so we can get some money to buy a vehicle? Where can I find a vehicle? How can I find the perfect vehicle? Like, I was doing it all in my own power, and I just, like, quit. I just was like, you know what, God? I can't do this. You're going to have to come through because we have no other hope. And he came through, and not only that, he gave me those 2 sunroofs, and the funny thing was, we got the, I don't remember, I have a bad memory. I shouldn't say that, but I don't remember details very well. I do know, however, that there was something about the fact that I had asked, like I had said to the Lord, we need these vehicles by May 4th. And May 4th, I remember very clearly that I was like, I think that was the day that I, like, sent the title in or got the permanent license plates in the mail or something. It was like some significant, yep, the Lord did this. Anyway, that's all to say. Fast forward, it's been a few years, and the Traverse was used when we bought it. It has some transmission problems. I love our vehicle. I would keep driving it forever, but it has a transmission problem that would cost more to replace than whatever, and it's like 230,000 miles right now and 11 years old. So back to, we're looking at maybe buying a new vehicle with payments, because, you know, that whole thing of like, okay, well, if we buy it, we pay it off, and then in 10 years sell it, you know, then we'll actually have our, if we buy a low enough price vehicle, like not a premium, like, you know, a sturdy, low miles per gallon, reliable vehicle that we can turn around and sell for like half as much in 10 years, then that means that we, you know, ran it very cheap every year. But it's so funny how we go into our old ways, because as soon as Ezra started talking like this, I immediately was getting anxious. Like the last week or 2, even though I've been praying about it, and even though the Lord has been good to me, I have been like nervous. I have cold sores. My stomach hurts. I haven't been able to sleep. I was just anxious about this, and crying. And like as I was talking to me about it, and I got all mad at him, and I was like, I cannot talk about this right now. And then I kind of like heard him, and he was like, okay, go do it. And I started being like, fine, okay, well, I don't really see any other option, and started looking into it, and I contacted a dealer. But every time I talked to the dealer or the sales guy, I was just nervous and feeling like I kind of had the sensation like I was like an animal walking through the woods and looking out for a trap. Like feeling like I'm just walking along feeling really like there's a trap. I know there's a trap. That's how I was feeling. And I was thinking about that and realizing like, okay, that's the same old attitude. It's the same old fear. It's the same old anxiety where I don't trust the Lord. I don't think the Lord's going to be good to me. I don't think this is going to turn out well. And so this whole long video is to say that I decided today that I was going to stop feeling like that. I was going to stop giving into my anxiety, stop living in fear. I don't know what vehicle's out there right now for us. I don't know what we're supposed to be driving. I don't know. But I know there's one out there. I know God is good. I feel like instead of having this, like, playing this mentality in my head, like, okay, we could end up with 2 higher payments, or we could end up with a lemon, or we're going to find a salesman who's going to take us for a ride. Like, instead of playing all these scenarios in my head where we were, do bad, I'm going to play scenarios in my head like this. God is good. He's going to surprise me. Just like he loves to delight me, and he delighted me with that Traverse, and it was great for us, and it was really comfy, and we did a lot of fun trips with it. The Lord is also going to delight me with exactly the right vehicle that we need to do other things. And like, I was praying about it, I just felt like the Lord saying to me, like, yep, I'm going to give you a car, and you are supposed to go and be involved in family life, and it's going to work out good for you. And I realized that, like, faith means, like, faith doesn't mean, like, living in faith and making a decision in faith doesn't always mean that it's not scary and that you don't see the danger, but it's more like, I'm going to do this slightly scary thing and believe that the Lord is going to be on my side. And anyway, that's my story. So we are looking for a vehicle. I might, come on here at some point. We're looking at a Subaru Impreza. I really want a hatchback. I really want it to have a good sound system because I love listening to music and worship in the car. But you know what? All new vehicles have good sound systems, so I'm not too worried. I wish it wasn't white, but it seems like all the base models are white. So I might end up with a white car, whatever. I don't know actually if we're going to get a Subaru Impreza because Eric is like 6'1" and he might not be able to fit in it. And honestly, we pack in our car and drive together places. Like, we go to church, me and Ezra in the front, 3 kids in the back, and I know Eric is huge and we should not cram him in the back, but I don't want to sit in the back. So I need to go for a test drive and put Eric in the back and see if he even fits in the back. So that's the next step. And anyway, we'll let you know on this video. You'll probably see a video of our new car. But actually we need 2 new cars. So I'm trusting the Lord. He's going to come through. Or maybe we'll just fix one of the ones that we have. We also have a Chrysler 200 that I love to drive. It's such a nice car. It just has some codes that need to clear so that it passes inspection. But other than that, it's really nice. It's just that, it's getting older. Anyway, that's my video. I'm going to go to dinner with a friend tonight and bring my macaroni salad. And that's all. Bye. Oh, wait. Let me just say this before I go. If you are feeling like you living anxiety and fear and you replay scenarios in your head of what can go wrong and you feel like you've lost your optimism in life, I just want to encourage you to ask the Lord how to rediscover his goodness, because the Lord is good. He is good and kind-hearted, and I know that life is hard and things are hard and there's scary things in life and there's sad things in life, and it's not like the world is perfect, but I think that one of the biggest things in life is discovering how much peace and goodness there is when we walk every step with God and he's with us in the hard times and the scary times, and also just how amazing it is when you're watching for him to come through and then he does. I don't know. I know sometimes if you've not experienced that at all, it can feel very trite. The words I'm saying can feel like, yeah, God is good, but life is hard and where is God? But I think that that's one of the important things of faith, is to choose to keep looking for him, to not let circumstances and hard things and problems make you give up on looking for the Lord, because it's so good on the other side of finding him. I told Giselle the other day, this video is getting so long. It makes me feel really insecure. If you are watching this video and you don't care how long it is, please comment and tell me, because a lot of times I talk and I'm like, oh, this is too long. Just let me know. But anyway, the other day I was reading in Job to the kids, and I got to the point where, right in the first couple chapters, where Job's kids die. And Giselle was really upset. And the next day we were talking, we talked a little, and then the next day in the kitchen we were talking about it again, and she was saying to me, it just didn't feel worth it. Why did Job's kids have to die? Of all the things, it seems like that's not worth it. Whatever lessons Job might have learned, it didn't feel worth it to lose your kids. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I feel like, Lord, I love you and I want to know you, but I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to go through that. And I was thinking about that and thinking how I could answer Giselle, and I realized that hold on a second. I have to go in 2 minutes, so this is going to wrap up. I realized that I was talking to Giselle, and I don't have answers for that. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. But all I know is that, like, a lot of people, like I told Giselle, faith is faith. And a lot of people come to hard questions in life and quit. Like, a lot of people get to this wall in life where they're like, here's a hard thing, God didn't come through, looks like God isn't good, looks like God isn't powerful, and so never mind, and they walk away. And I'm like, it's the same, like, I've heard, I don't run, but I've heard that, like, in long distance running, you hit this wall. Like, you can run, some people hit it early, some people hit it longer, but you're running and you hit a wall, and the test of a runner is what you do when you hit that wall. And some people it's early, some people it's late, but when you get past the wall on the other side, there's something, like, magnificent. And I feel like that about faith. Like, I feel like if you have things in your life that are hard and you come up to this wall in the Lord where you're like, okay, this is too hard. This is too hard. I can't do this, Lord. I can't trust you. I can't believe in you. I feel like that is your test. Like, that is all of our tests, that when we get to that hard thing, we choose to say, Lord, I don't understand, but I want to understand. I'm going to choose to believe that there is an answer somewhere in you, and we keep going. And I think that, like I told Giselle, that I think if I was a more fearful parent, I would be like, oh, Giselle, it's okay, like, God is da-da-da-da-da, and I'd give her some kind of pat answer to try to distract her from that question, like, is God good? Was God good to Job when his kids died? It's a hard question, but I just said to Giselle, I can't answer that for you, but I know that, like, God will answer. I trust the Lord enough that I want you to face that wall head on. Don't fight it. Don't run away from it. You look at that hard thing and you go towards it and through it. Because I believe for Giselle, and I believe for all of us, that when you get to a place in your faith that is really scary, the best part of life is on the other side of it. And that sounds really scary to me. Like, there's a lot of things that I do not want to face in life, like root canals and stuff. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to. But I also can kind of see the value of it. I see the value of facing those things. Oh, I'm all over the place. All over the place with Brianna. That's what this video is going to be called. I hope this was encouraging to you. I'm just trying to be a little bit transparent about my faith walk, because the Lord has been so good to me. And I think that the more we are honest and give our testimonies of what God is doing, the more we build each other's faith. So that's what I'm trying to do. I gotta go. Alright, I love you. Whoever's watching. Bye! By the way, this is my macaroni salad. It's like bacon, I don't even know, peas, random stuff, in case anybody was curious. Bye!